Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. PDP quakes as Wike's group opts out of Atiku's campaign. Court order won't stop negotiation with ASUU, says Ngige. Shekarau notifies Senate of defection to PDP. Buhari, I will bequeath legacy of credible polls. 94.4 million liters crude oil stolen daily, says government. Nigeria, US, Germany, others still packed on food security. Dignitaries greet Tinubu at 62, and Senate confirms Ariwola as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Okay, let me start with we want to start? Go ahead.
Okay, yes. So our president, as we know, has been at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, and this is the 77th meeting. And in his farewell speech yesterday, he said that, I would like to read it verbatim. He says, as president, I have set the goal that one of the enduring legacies I would leave is to entrench a process of free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. He goes on to talk about democracy and how, even though the will of democracy is slow, but he feels that that's what gives every government the legitimacy to make a positive impact or change in their country. And then he talks about how our country, in various ways, we have supported democracy. He talked about Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, and Chad, and how Nigeria has played a part with other African countries to, sort of entrench democracies in these countries and in Africa as a whole. He just says that this will be his very last. He said he had done, he had been at one of these meetings as a military head of state, and then, years later, 30 years later or 31 years later, he's there as, a democratically elected president. But this will be his very last, and the next one will be represented by a different leader. And so that was why he was saying that one of his legacies will be that he makes sure that we have free and fair elections going forward.
Okay, let me take the major headline because it's still about the issues going on within the PDP. So there's no end in sight yet because the vanguards of the Ayu must go are joining they're saying that they're not going to support the Atiku Abubakar campaign for presidency if Ayu does not step down. And many of them gathered and mentioned they've urged them, although Atiku has responded, and urged them to reconsider the position because, according to him, Ayu can only be brought down via a constitutional process. But however, Chief Judge maintained that the position was not negotiable, that they're going to insist that Ayu steps down, especially because they've tried to get the entire PDP to accept and see the need to make that, to have the chairmanship come to South and not stay in the North. However, now that they've agreed that they're going to be opting out of the Atiku Abubakar campaign, that's a major threat to the campaign of the PDP because they need everybody together to be in sync for the campaign. Unfortunately, the team are insisting. I was going to read a quote exactly from the Chief Judge saying that he said the group was. They said that the support for Wike was neither because he lost the presidential the primaries, but because they're backing him because he's standing for justice, fairness, and equity, and recalling that the party was founded on such principles and they're going to insist on that justice for the party. Okay.
Yeah, so
he also said that because I watched him as well, and he also said that he wasn't going to. It wasn't because they will leave the party that they're not leaving the party. They are making that protest by staying in the party, but they will not participate in the campaign. Yeah.
Okay. So the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has revealed that we are losing 95.4 million liters of crude oil daily, and he converted this by saying that that will amount to 600,000 barrels being stolen of crude oil stolen daily. And a barrel of crude oil produces 159 liters of petrol every day. And he said that's the amount that is being stolen. He talked about collaboration of the security agencies in this stealing that is happening. He was appearing before the House Committee on the House Committee investigating this, oil lifting thefts, and the impact of the petroleum production and oil revenues in Nigeria. And he says that already we have a deficit of we produce about 1.23 billion million barrels of crude oil per day, and we are not meeting the OPEC quota of 1.8 million barrels. We are losing $2.1 billion. That's 877 billion naira because of that deficit that we have that we are not being able to meet up. And then this oil theft that continuously happens within Pegasus, the National President of Pegasus too have talked about how the security agencies are collaborating. Everybody recently have been talking about how this oil theft is happening in our broad daylight. Other countries have been able to stem thefts happening in their region, but we seem like it is an equivalent
rocket science
to do here. Of course, there's collaboration, and he says there's also a deliberate intention of the security agents to remain in areas where oil theft is happening. When their superiors are moved, they pay highly to other superiors to be deployed to those areas because of how lucrative it is to secure those areas. Right. Because of course, because of how the corruption that is happening there. I don't think that this is rocket science. This is something that can easily be done if we're a serious nation.
Okay. Yeah, Ngige has said that the court order, because the court has ordered the ASUU to go back to the classrooms, and he has said, oh, that won't stop them from negotiating. They will still sit down and negotiate, but that they should go back to the classrooms. And meanwhile, ASUU have said they are going to do a stay of execution. They're going to appeal the court's decision. So that means they're not going back to the classroom. The government has said that they're going to ask the vice chancellors to go back to the classrooms. But
should we just build a new university?
Students are saying this is not fair. Yeah. The parents are saying, no, please go back, let our children go to school. The ASUU themselves, Oshodeke said that it is like if you are a doctor, you ask a doctor to treat you, suspend a doctor or something, you force a doctor to treat you. Will you feel comfortable going to let the doctor treat you? No. You won't feel comfortable. So even the students will not be comfortable, them forcing their lecturers back to school.
That's true.
So.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're now going to review the Punch. Ayu must go. PDP call emergency meeting over governors and others gang up. Onga, that's Buhari promises credible polls. I think we took that story. No post-conviction bill for Baba Ijesha. Court rules. Forces hack bank, transfer 523 million naira to 225 accounts. Hoodlums raid Ogun. Communities kill 3. Police investigate. Northern Christians will mobilize against the Muslim ticketers Lawal. Court sets aside $47 million Paris Club payment judgment. And Senate confirms Ariwola as new CG and gets agenda. Okay.
Okay, let me talk about...
Go on,
okay, the hackers. So these hackers, they attacked a particular account. They said this account is domiciled in an old generation bank. And they hacked this account and transferred over 500 million naira from their account. They said immediately they did that. It took them 3 days to do this whole operation. They took out that money, then they distributed it into 18 different accounts within the bank. Then the moment they did that, they now transferred it to about 25 different, 225 other accounts in 22 banks. Yeah. Sharply. Thank God our police caught them. At least they said one person is in their custody, and that so far over 160 million has been recovered. Then there's another story of one Sikiru or Lainka. That one, $123,000 landed in his account. It was not for him. They said as the money landed like this, when he saw it, he ran to the bank, withdrew immediately 120. The banks were trying to get in touch with him to say, Uncle, it's not your money. They say he didn't listen to them. He immediately transferred the different accounts. Anyway, he has been caught. Nigerians, how do we even do that? And he has a company. It's a corporate account. But I don't know how we think.
Wow.
How do they think that they will not be caught?
Money that is not your own.
It's like now
you won't even question.
How did the money get here?
Have the guts to spend that kind of money. Can you imagine? He quickly transferred it.
How did you think you get away with it?
Father in heaven.
If Nigerians can collect charity, somebody wanted to do 5,000 for you in Ramadan and mistakenly did 50,000 and called you and said, it was a mistake. Send the rest back because I'm still sharing to people. Say, no, I've already spent it.
I mean, it's just
I'm telling
terrible.
you.
Let's take another story.
I will nearly die in your hand if you do that to me.
Paris-
Anyway, I wanted to take the hoodlums that raided the armed robbers, raided in Ogun State, the Oyede communities, Songo in the Ado-Ota local state, area of Ogun State, and they killed one of the boys, Adewale, one of the residents of the house. They came in and they first tied up the security guard. He came out, not knowing, they shot at him. No, he didn't even know, he thought it was just one. He came to attack, and then as he was attacking one of the armed robbers, the rest shot at him. Another guy, Lekon, came out, heard him screaming, came out to help him. They shot that one too. And when the people thought that the armed robbers had left, as they were leaving, so they were trying to carry the Adewale out, they just saw them, they shot at them again, they dropped the body. He was still alive at that time. They ran back inside, and so they heard him gasp for his last breath, lying down there. They couldn't take him to the hospital. Very, very sad. Police are looking for them.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
I wanted to take the Paris Club. So this Paris Club issue of $47 million have been arrested by the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the court ordered that it cannot be paid. So the court has ruled against that payment, that all promissory notes that the MAGF and the Minister of Finance have issued to the company. Let me get the name of the company, Panic Alert Security Systems Limited, against the governor's forum. That's what they call the name. That all promissory notes, all payments, all checks, any of such things is void with immediate effect. The court has ruled against it, saying that it was a simple contract and that the contract did not carry this cost that they settled at the consent judgment. So the court has overruled that consent judgment. And so we are back to fresh start, hopefully.
So the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja had rejected the post-conviction bill filed by James Olariwaju, who is also known as Baba Jesha, pending the determination of his appeal. According to the judge, they dismissed the application because Baba Jesha did not meet exceptional circumstances and criteria to warrant the bill. I didn't even know you could apply for a post-conviction bill. So after you've been convicted, you can apply for a bill pending your appeal for the case. I didn't realize that was an option. They're very kind.
But they didn't give it to you.
It was denied. Moving on quickly to Daily Sun. War without end in PDP. Kanu Nwankwo hails Ongwayi as peaceful leader. Erosion, Soludo cries to federal government, says 40% of Anambra's landmass is under threat. Airlines lose billions as Lagos Airport records 93 bird strikes in 6 months. Nigeria too advanced for same-faith presidency, says Apostolic Church. And the UBAP offers to pay $1 million monthly to defray authorities 50 million naira loan. ASUU vows to appeal as court orders lecturers to back to classroom. Newly confirmed CGN denies crisis in Supreme Court. Okay, which story are we taking in, son?
Let me take Soludo. So the governor of Anambra State has cried out to the federal government to assist Anambra State, saying that his state is losing about 40% of his land mass to erosion and water issues. He says that even if the entire budget of the state in 10 years straight is put into this, it cannot completely deal with the situation on its own. And I hope that the federal government, because they get this ecological fund and all of this, these are issues that these monies are meant for, will partner them. They are looking seriously to partner other agencies and state governments and federal government on this issue. I've seen the pictures, I've seen videos, I've seen a whole building swallowed by this. I think that we can immediately intervene and do something.
He says that their environment is their #1 existential threat. Apart from the security, the erosion is killing the state, and they really need the federal government to intervene.
Yeah, so there was a workshop organized by the Search and Rescue Mission of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, that's NAMA. This happened on Wednesday, and they were discussing the bird strikes that have been happening in Nigeria. They said about 93 bird strike incidents occurred across Nigerian airports in 2022, and that out of this, 54 of these bird strikes happened at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, and that these strikes cost airlines so far 15 billion naira because that's the cost you spend towards repairing the aircrafts when these happen. And so the stakeholders had this meeting and they say it's important that they find a lasting solution to this, and they put the blame really on security agencies of the Federal Airports Authority and also airline operators. Someone else also blamed pilots, says sometimes the pilots are in such a hurry to leave that they do not follow the instructions of the air traffic controllers. So we hope that this is something that, you know, is sorted. I didn't know that we had that many birds.
Strikes. I was even going to ask, how do they avoid the birds? You know, how can they avoid the birds?
Yeah, so I guess that's why they have to listen to the air traffic controllers. They would see the birds coming and they would say, okay, hold on for a bit and let them fly past. But if you're in a hurry, you will just...
Right. Okay, let's take the CGN. The new CGN was responding to questions yesterday. That's Oluka Diariwola, SAN, was responding to questions at the Senate yesterday concerning the issue of the welfare of the judge. If you recall, there was a memo that was leaked about the welfare of the judge, and he was saying that he was equally shocked. All the judges were shocked that this was an internal memo that never should have come out to the press. According to him, some of the justices that were appointed back in 2020 have not been given official accommodation. Many of them are coming to work from satellite towns within the FCT, and it says that the issues raised in the memo were still not attended to because of paucity of funds. So the issues are still there, but it was not it wasn't for public consumption. And also, he was also asked about the question on the delay of justice. So he was agreeing that yes, justice delayed, yes, no, it's justice denied. However, justice rushed is also justice denied. So they have to ensure that the case goes through the proper procedure. Said the wheel of justice may be slow, but as long as it is still steady, it will always be served on those who deserve it. So we shouldn't complain that justice is slow.
I like that he asked that, you know, there should be an amendment of our laws to allow some cases stop, just as, you know, appeal case, election petition cases stop at the appeal courts. We should have some cases stop because they are overloading the Supreme Court. And then he talked about the issues of them having issues within the Supreme Court, that the justices don't have issues that are not...
Okay, quickly, moving on to Vanguard. Wike Court ordered ASUU to call off 7-month-long strike. I think Wike took that story. PDP crisis, I can't force Ayu to resign, Atiku insists. Saboteurs in Buhari's government says Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello. Obio's manifesto to be released before campaign, says Patutomi. Buhari to United Nations General Assembly seeks debt cancellation. Leaked memo, no crisis amongst Supreme Court justices, CJN. Autumn begs UN to pay attention to humanitarian crisis in Benue North Central. 2023, government won't fund political parties, says Gbajabia Miller. Tinubu stickers, we didn't impose 500 naira levy on tricycles, says Lagos State MC Oluomo. And World Peace Day, nobody can eliminate the religion in Nigeria, says Sultan. That's the truth. Nobody can eliminate any religion in Nigeria. I like to take that.
I took the 500 naira levy on tricycles. So
yes.
The Lagos State chairperson on Parks and Garages Management Committee, Musli Akinsoya, or popularly known as MC Oluomo, has addressed in a video, and you know this was reported by the Vanguard, that he was surprised to see stickers being pasted by mischief makers on tricycles, and insisting that he was also being tagged on those videos circulating that he was the one who ordered such things. And he has asked that every of those people caught in such should be immediately arrested and taken to police stations, that these videos are works of mischief makers that are not in any way related to the Parks and Gardens management, and he did not order such. And he also went further to say that the APC presidential candidate is not in need of such ridiculous amounts of money in his campaigns. He's very well supported by people who have means to sponsor his ambition as president of, to vie for president of the country.
So the Sultan was speaking at an event with International Day of Peace, sorry. International Day of Peace. Sultan was saying that, and he was addressing the issue of the religious divide we have in our country. He said, no, we can't eliminate any religion over the other. That God, let me say exactly, he said, you cannot eliminate any religion in Nigeria because God who made us created these religions and put us together. Peace is very important for us to progress and develop as a nation. As such, we must not let anyone use religion to divide us, because this is an important statement at this time, because many are using the religion to divide us as a people, and using that as a divide amongst Nigerians. And I think it's important for us to remember that, listen, we cannot eliminate one over the other. We've all been living here peacefully together, and I think that should be recognized. Any other story? Saboteurs? Nobody has that story? Okay, I think that's all we can take.